I don't mind Nate. He's a faggot.
Yo, what's good, guys? Big Cheese in 420 here, and this story is about the first time I've ever took acid. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that follow button and make sure you like the video. It really helps me out. Let's get into it. So this story starts off, in the middle of summer, and we were young. We couldn't drive or do nothing, so we were just texting around, looking for anything to do. And my friend Jack hits me up, okay? And he's gonna be in town. He moved away recently, so it was kind of nice to see him. And he was that one kid that started smoking really young, and he was doing a lot of crazy shit before I even was. So when I heard he was coming back to town, I knew it was going to be a good day. And it was, let me tell you. So he gets to town, and immediately he breaks out this folded up piece of, tinfoil. And I get a little excited because I know what's in there. And he shows me these perfect blue gold flake gel tabs, and oh my god, he said they were double dose, but everyone says that, so who knows. But anyway, I noticed there was only 2 in there, so my friend Dane that I was with wasn't gonna get one, and he wasn't too bummed about that because he really didn't get into it at this point, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But anyway, we get immediately to planning, and there wasn't much to do. I mean, in my small town, it's just woods and houses. There's really nothing else, so we decided to go into the woods. And we, go down these trails that are around, my house. And we find this, cabin looking thing. It wasn't really a cabin. I mean, it was just a little house, and there was a bunch of windows, all around it, and they were all open. So it wasn't like I was in some, abandoned, creepy house. It was kind of chill. But anyway, we get in there, and I immediately bust out the packet, bro. I start rolling up. He hands me the tab, and, he takes one too. I take it. And we're chilling there for about an hour, and nothing really happens. I'm kind of disappointed at this point. I thought I was going to be seeing, angels and devils and all this stuff, and it just wasn't happening until I looked at my phone, and I noticed my phone didn't look like normal. It was moving, it was waving, and the colors on my background to my, home screen were, really vibrant and just moving around. So I tell, Jack and Dane, I'm like, oh, my phone's moving. And, Jack kind of kills the vibe. And he's like, oh, you're just tripping, bro. And I'm just like, all right. And you might not think that's really a vibe killer, but I already knew I was tripping. I didn't need to hear it. I just, wanted someone to be like, oh, that's cool. But anyway, it wasn't really that big of a deal. I brushed it off. But Jack and Dane wanted to get out of there. I mean, I just wanted to stay there and chill. But they wanted to walk around, so I'm like, I guess. And I get up, and immediately I look at the ground, and I can just see eyes everywhere. There was leaves covering the ground, and, in between the leaves were just eyes all over the ground. And I wasn't freaking out or nothing, I just thought it was kind of cool. Until I looked up, and I saw this cartoon weed plant, in the trees. And I was just like, oh, that's there, I guess. It wasn't there 5 minutes ago, but now it's there. But Jack and Dane already started walking away at this point, and I was just staring at the trees, amazed how there was a weed plant just floating there. And they start walking away, down the trail. And I follow them, I catch up to them. And I'm just walking, I'm looking at the trees, nothing really visual. I didn't see any more weed plants or anything like that. I saw probably some more eyes, but it wasn't really that bad. Until we got to the road that we came from, I just came up really hard out of nowhere, and everything just got really bright and colorful. And, I wasn't really tripping, but they wanted to go to, some store or something, and I was just not down for that. I was not trying to be seen in public or walk on the side of the road for about, 5 minutes, just walking down the road. I thought I was going to fall over or something like that. So I was not trying to leave the woods. I just told them no. I got in, a thought loop. I was just saying no, no, no. And they were like, oh, why not? Why not? It's not that big of a deal. And I just kept telling them no. And, Jack kind of understood. He was like, oh, yeah. And after about an hour of being in the woods, I kind of, came down a little bit. And I was ready to go out into the public. So we start walking back, and, we head to this little store. We get some drinks or whatever. And Jack's not really talking much. I mean, he was on his phone, and I guess he texted this kid Mike that he should pull up. And I didn't really know Mike like that, but he pulled up anyway. And we were driving around town, and I was still, bright colors and everything. No more really visuals until later in the day. But I was vibing until Mike, decided that we should go down a walking trail in a car. So we go back to this trail that we were at before, and it's not made for cars whatsoever. Only walking, maybe a bike or something. But he just floors it down this trail, and we're still inside, and it's just, hitting roots. We're just flying. And I didn't even think this was real. Like, I was laughing. It was crazy. And when I'm telling it, it probably doesn't sound that crazy, but in the moment, it was wild. I was like, I couldn't believe that he just drove down the walking path, and he didn't care. And we're, driving through, and we finally turn around, and, we get out of there, we park up. And I wanted to spark another blunt, but Mike and Jack said they had to head out, so, I had to go home. And I thought my ass was grass at this point. I did not want to go home. My eyes were bowling balls. But I really had nowhere else to go. My other friend, he wanted to leave too, so he went back to his house. And I started to walk home. Thankfully, it wasn't really a long walk. It was probably like 1 or 2 minutes away, so it wasn't that bad. But when I got home, I immediately went to my room, like the fastest I've ever went to my room. Didn't say hi to nobody. And I somehow made it to my room, and I am so happy. I immediately sit down at my desk, and I'm ready to play some games or something like that. And I happen to look over, and from my desk, you can kind of see out the window. So I look over and start looking at the trees out the window. And I see these brown, long snakes just coming from the trees, just like slithering down. And I'm just kind of freaking out in my head. I mean, I was not that scared, but it was kind of weird to see snakes come from the trees, like big, long snakes. But I get over it, and, I go back to my games, and that was really it for the night. I mean, it wasn't really that bad after this. I mean, I started to come down, so I wasn't really seeing much anymore. I was still feeling good, but that was really it. So I'm probably going to leave this story there. Sorry for another short story. I'm going to try to make a longer one next one, but make sure you like and subscribe. Again, it helps me out. And as always, have a good day.